Yes, episode 158, all thanks to Pegs. Download the Pegs app if you haven't already. Tom Grylls, welcome.
Thanks for me, boys. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you on. Now, do we call you a member of the Sharks leadership group or just one of 7 co-captains?
Yeah, one of seven for sure.
How does it feel to be a part of that leadership group before you've even played a Colts game this year?
Yeah, no, it was a real privilege to get it. Yeah, and obviously, to be given that role after not playing a game and really not being there with all the PSA commitments is something that I'm really not taking for granted and trying to put my best foot forward with.
Is that something that I guess you sort of didn't like while in the PSA system, that the limited opportunity you got to play and be a part of Colts footy?
Yeah, I think being at PSA, obviously you're part of two worlds, and you're almost shielded from that cult scene. It's kind of hard to break in, and then when you go back to Colts, it's just a bit. Oh, you're a PSA boy. You're there for 2 weeks, and so you've got a few relationships there, but then you're going back to PSA with your mates. So it's kind of it's hard to, unless you've got a few real close friends that you're almost with because of PSA. It is a bit hard, but I think you also get that PSA world, which is pretty nice to be a part of.
And Christchurch and East Freo, it's not the most straightforward. I don't know. I don't want to use the word alignment, but I just think Aquinas and East Freo is probably the most common. I guess I don't know what the word is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
link.
Yeah, well, I think people ask me a lot. They're like, "Why are you at East Freo?" And yeah, while I was in boarding school in year 9, it was a bit of a pain in the ass trying to get Ubers down to the East Fremantle district, and it was trying to find any other boys from, I think Ram Evans, he's a Gero boy from Scotch College, and so I was really carpooling for as long as I can with him because I only just turned 18, so yeah, for a few years I was battling it out in the trenches getting Ubers, but
hope you had a good rating.
Yeah, hopefully. I kind of just kept him awake, really. It was a few long days of sitting through English classes. So, that was real fun. But yeah, I was at Claremont for a bit, but then I had a bit of Karratha, where I'm from. So it was a bit of, just logistics, sorting out where I was going to end up. But happy to be at East.
How was Karratha growing up?
Hot. Yeah, so definitely, it made me prepare for the summer months down here.
Did you play footy during this time of year?
So I've played a few. Well,
isn't it meant to be dry season?
It's beautiful now. This time of year, I was actually just up there last weekend, and it's beautiful. Water's clear and weather's about 30 degrees, and it's just perfect right now. But yeah, during the summer, I was doing a few pre-season runs when I went up there, and you'd have to wait till like 7 o'clock, and it's still 35 degrees and humid, and you're just like, I don't know about this one. Boy's gonna have to take a few 400s off the running program. But no, it's a great place, and I think it definitely. I am a part of Karratha now, essentially. Yep. I am who I am because of being there.
So obviously you just had the bias and you clearly went up there. So what'd you do up there? Did you just catch up with some friends and family?
Yeah, well, so I turned 18 a few weeks back, and being at boarding school and at Christchurch, all the boys are like, oh, we want to see a part of where you've come from, and I'd always have glaring stories of the place. And so, I mustered a few boys up, and we went up for the weekend. And so, I think a few Christchurch boys, a few boys from footy, and an old mate from primary school, and we went up and shot speared some fish, had a look at some rock art, and just showed them around the place. And it was actual real good weekend, and the weather was a nice calm window as well, which is pretty rare. Usually I go up there and it's blowing a gale, so you can't really do much but look out the window and wish that it was flat.
You feel refreshed, as they like to say, in the mid-season, get away, have a bar.
Yeah. Well, I drove the boat up and back, so it's a 16-hour drive, so the lower back is feeling pretty tight, but I've got a pretty good masseuse, so yeah, hopefully he can stretch that out and get me good.
Sam Manwaring, we hope you're not listening, coach. Now, Grylls, where does the background of this last name come from? Is there any origin?
I do. Yeah, there's a few questions that come up. Like they said, I can say I'm related to Bear Grylls, but everyone just
clearly
goes,
like the wildlife and
whatnot. Well, I think I'll just say I am. People are going to say I'm not, but I do. After primary school, people would say, and my granddad got out this big fat family book and just went through the generations, and then found my dad's name in the book and Bear Grylls' name in the book. And I've just always trusted his source. So, and but a lot of people just say, yeah, you're capping to us, mate.
Yeah, well, it is one of the best names rolling around. You sort of just said it there. Does anyone actually call you Bear? Because I've actually been told to pull out Bear Grylls during commentary of your games. Done the one game this year. It hasn't happened yet, but sort of asking for permission here.
Yeah, look, I'm not one of those people who's going to get sooky about a nickname. So look, I just go with whatever I'm calling, really.
Look at Brian Taylor with Pat Voss.
Yeah, Prancing Pony, or whatever. But
big chest.
A few people give it to me, but it's not really, like I said, it's more just if people think of it, and then but hasn't really stuck yet. It kind of just goes around. And I've got 2 younger brothers and my dad, and so we all kind of get called the same nickname most of the time. It's kind of confusing.
Now, we've already touched on Christchurch a little bit, but Mosman Park into Christchurch. Tell us about your junior career in Perth and what part of, I guess, maybe the PSA system that stood out to you.
So originally when I came to Perth from up north, I was split between soccer and footy.
Right.
So yeah, that was kind of, I played club soccer for Subiaco and then Christchurch footy.
Yeah.
And then as you boys would probably know, the thing that drives local footy clubs is the younger kids doing the recruiting for the team. And so I think it was Max Hansen, Ben Frank, and Max Elton, and a few other the Mozzie Park stalwarts said, "Come over, play footy," and they would all have some real good stories of the Sunday game on the weekend. So I made that move with a few other boarders, Clancy Dennis, Max Duff, a few other boys, and we went over there. And it was at Mozzie Park until obviously East Freo came around, and we had a few good years, few bad years, and then finally in the last year in year 10 we won the A Division flag, which was real.
So only good. One flag.
Only one flag. Solid. Yeah, look, I'm just going to blame the camps that Christchurch took us on. This is no hate against Christchurch, but I think 4 of us, we had a semi-final coming up, and 4 of us were on a camp, and then we all came back sick. And then, they just kind of knocked us out. But look, I'll take the one flag. It's better than none. So, but no, that was one of the best years. And then, Christchurch footy was really good. I think you can build a real good relationship with your mates when you're sitting at school through them all day, and then you go to training with them. And then obviously we didn't get too many wins, but those first few years of I didn't really play much of year 12 due to injury, but year 10 especially, just the camaraderie and those older boys really getting around you was something that I really look back on. And it was just a fun time. Year 10, you don't have much responsibility with ATAR, and so your life really is just footy. And mum and dad do kind of want to emphasise to me that you need to have that other side of your life, that being study and stuff. So, but they weren't as hard on it in year 10. So I really just got to have a bit of fun playing footy and getting around the other boys.
Who were some of the guys you maybe looked up to as a younger student?
Well, Jonah Brooks was pretty good at footy back then. Yeah, we'd go to training, and you'd look at the good guys in year 11, Austin Van der Straaf, Will Hayes, those types of blokes, and then Jonah just at the time was just a behemoth. He was like 6'3", and he'd just be running around training, selling candy. And the funniest thing I remember about him was he'd sell candy, but he'd laugh while he was doing it. And so he'd sell someone candy and then let out this little giggle, and he'd do it in games as well. And so it was just kind of funny. And then other year 12s, Bailey Van der Straaf, Hugh Davies was really good to us younger boys, just always getting around us. And after any of the better games we had as younger boys, straight to flick us a message like, "Well done, like this is what you need to do, keep up the work." So
well, Christchurch have probably been on the decline for a while. This year's been far from ideal. How hard has that been to watch, be aware of, and are you confident that it's just a phase that in time will pass?
Yeah, well, I think when I first went to the first 18 in year 10, we had a pretty good year. I think we finished equal third or something on the ladder. And so from that we thought we were on, and coming up through the ranks in year 9 and year 8, like we were having only 2 losses a season. So to come into year 11 and have more losses, and then watching from the sidelines in year 12 was a hard watch. And then my younger brothers are at the school now, and so that's seeing that's what they're going to be going through. But I also think that as a player, that is, I mean, it's hard to say, but you'd rather that than be winning by 100 points every week, just in terms of development. Yeah. And I think I think while it'd be really nice to win an Alco Cup, and bloody hell, if I won an Alco Cup during my time at school, I'd be pretty stoked with that. But I think that, I do think that it is just a phase. I think it'll take a lot of work to get up to the levels of those Scotches and Aquinas boys, but they've got a new coach, Will Michelle. He's the footy manager. He's a great bloke. He's probably one of the best guys I had through my times with injuries. And they've got a lot of good young years as well. I coached the Dalkeith Nedlands team, which is basically their club team. And there's a lot of strong footy players in that team. So they've got a new system in terms of keeping more year 10s down and just creating a group of boys. And so hopefully that pays dividends in the coming years, but you never know. You just got to wait and see.
Yeah, did your Aquinas teammates that were at East Freo teammates that were at Aquinas rub the Alco in quite a bit?
Yeah, but I think obviously with the struggles that they faced last year, I think that was, a bit of a consolation prize. And I also think that they were just a good team. You've got to give credit where credit's due. And they had strong players in every line, along with they still had blokes like Irks out in the state team, and they were still performing really strongly. So I think, whenever they wanted to, it wasn't something that I kind of bit back about. I was just like, fair enough. Like you boys deserve that when you worked hard. Good on yous.
Yeah, 100%. Now, we've had a couple of messages and whatnot that have come through recently about the Sharks saying, they're unstoppable, whatnot. But I must admit, I did think you guys had one of the best lists coming into this season this year. So with the 6-2 record at the moment, how do you think you guys are sitting mid-season?
Well, I think it's been made really obvious through a lot of games that the competition's wide open. Yeah. And I think that every week you can send favourites into a game, but it's, especially this year, it's really just who wants to win at the contest more. And we've had losses to Perth and Claremont, and our coach Maney will always say, look, our best is really good, but we're trying to narrow the gap between our best and our worst. And so, we're on a good run, but half the season's done. There's another half to go. So I think we're trying to bank our wins, but we're not really trying to get our tails up at all. We're trying to stay at work. And as I said, if in this competition, the teams are good enough that a bad quarter can lose you the game. Yeah. And we know that. And we got a pretty big wake up call in that first game of the year against Claremont, where they kind of just smacked us around and beat us in every group. And so for us, it's really just trying to stay level-headed and just take each day as it comes and each game as it comes.
Well, heading into round 11 at the time of recording, there's a game between 3rd and 7th, so that just shows how tight the competition is.
Who's been one or two players that have flown under the radar, you think, from East Fremantle?
I think I could probably give you more than a few. I think I'm a bit biased, but Ollie McManus, he's had a really strong year. You boys have mentioned him, but I think obviously he'd get a bit of it because he's Sean's son, obviously, but he works incredibly hard at his craft and the things that he can get better at. So I think, although he hasn't been selected in a few teams, I think he puts his foot forward right every week, and he's shown it in multiple positions. He's gone back, and he is quite smaller in stature, but then he came into the midfield and he was still putting up really, really reasonable numbers there. So that was just pleasing to see on behalf of him, because I know how hard he's worked at those kind of aspects of contested ball and ground balls. And then also up in the forward line, I think it's probably hard to go past Ben Wood. I think he's, coming into the year personally, I kind of thought, being part of PSA last year, you're not really part of those younger boys coming up.
Who's this kid?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, almost a bit like that. But being part of the leadership group, you do have to go around and get around those boys, which I do love, and love having a cheeky little yap with them. But as I said, he's just come out and he's just popping up and kicking goals, and even if they're not in the most taking hangers, and even if they're not in the most conventional way, as I said, a game of footy is won by who can kick the ball in between the two big ones the most, and he's doing it for us. So,
do you dare to dream about a Derby Grand Final?
Yeah. In a lot of the group chats I'm in, it keeps coming up, and just off the atmosphere of the Derby we already had, it would be pretty unreal. I think the derby we've had so far was bucketing rain, and there was still people there watching. Yeah. So if people are going to turn up to watch 20 mils of rain get poured on 18-year-old kids' heads in a derby, I can't imagine what it'd be like for a grand final.
25 degrees, sunny, September.
Yeah,
Optus.
Exactly. But they're a strong team. They've got a lot of strong players to come back as well. So I think it's just for us, like I said, just staying level-headed and focusing on the game on the weekend for us. And if it comes to it, we'll be ready.
I'd like to know the last time that happened in. I'd say any, but particularly a Colts grand final, that we've had the two Freo teams play off in a grand final.
Yeah, well,
I can't remember
South haven't even been in the Colts grand final in well over a decade, and that wasn't against East Freo. So, in terms of one getting there, I think and that sounds disrespectful, but it's just because Claremont is so dominant year after year.
Don't start me.
Yeah, which you would be fully. Or a question I had about the leadership group. So, do you guys take one? Is it just one every 7 weeks? You do the toss.
I think it's just a bit. I think more so. I'm not even that across it. I think it's just mainly goes off who's been driving the standards the most. I think that's almost what it is. It's almost of we don't all need to be giving 110%, but when you're giving 110%, we'll put the captain on you because you're driving it the best.
Yep.
And I think that almost doesn't give us accountability, but it allows us other boys in the leadership group to have those bad days, bad weeks of training where maybe we're not feeling it or something's happened and the spotlight isn't on us to maintain that standard because we are all human. And so, when those bad weeks come around, it's good for the younger boys in the team to have multiple people to look at just to keep that standard going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to bring you back to ground level here, humble you a little bit. A goal against West Perth in your last outing, a goal against Claremont in your first outing. Why the dry spell in between? You've surely got to start using that left peg to use a bit more.
Yeah, I think I could be the worst in terms of accuracy in the Colts comment. I reckon I say this there's a joke going around the team that I actually can't buy a goal, it was weird that I got one last week because I think I was having 2 shots on goal a game and they were either completely missing, falling short or kicking a point, but I couldn't even kick a point some weeks. So it was, I don't know. I've changed boots to fix it. But no, I think I kicked it on my right foot last week, so maybe that's the thing. I've just been kicking it on the wrong side. But yeah, look, I just can't tell you, to be honest. I'd like to know what's going on there.
Changed boots. Wow.
Yeah. I went to Nike at the start of the year and they weren't doing much for me, so I said, "Nah, you guys are going back to Asics." And yeah,
I want to just ask. You've pretty much just said that you can kick confidently on both legs. Why is that? Because it's not. I'd say it's
unusual for left footers.
Yeah, definitely for me. I don't have a right foot. But at 18, 19, whatever, this age group, it's sort of uncommon to be able to kick confidently on both feet so early in your, I guess, football career. Is that maybe because of the soccer background?
Yeah,
as a younger kid.
Nah, in anyone who played me in soccer would know that I was the biggest culprit of a Ronaldo chop onto the left foot going for the top corner. But I wouldn't say I'm ambidextrous of any sort, but I think that's just something that my grandfather played a lot of footy and he just said the good players can kick on both feet.
Yeah.
And through coming up juniors, a lot of people have just said, if you want to be a better player, you need to be unpredictable, and unpredictable means you can swing onto both sides of your body.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that, I'd rather kick on my left foot, but if put onto my right foot, I back it in. And I think that was just a lot of craft and a lot of my dad saying, needs to be better. And he'll still tell me now, the goal I kicked was a flour bag. But I think it's just something that a lot of people, obviously in Colts, the competition is so close. So it's just the 1%ers and the edge that you can get over other people. So it's just something that I've kind of worked onto the side with my craft. And I think something that it does make a lot of difference, and they're big on it, especially in East Fremantle, on not having to cut back onto your preferred foot. It just slows the play, and as I said, I've worked on it a bit. Still a lot of room to be desired, but it does help in situations where you are forced onto your weak foot to be able to kick on it and not have to worry, essentially, and back it in to go where you want it to go.
Oh, it's good to hear that you're caring about your other foot, because my right foot does not get any love.
That's why you didn't play Colts.
Exactly. No, that's why I will never play above C5 football. Moving on to Instagram Q&As at Brian Ethan, obviously. You've been looking forward to these ones.
Hang on. Ask him about off.
Sorry. Yeah, I've missed a question.
We don't just care about your footy. We care about other things.
First year out of school for you, what's life like? Being in the world, study, work, outside of footy particularly.
I'm doing engineering commerce at Curtin. So
busy.
Okay.
It's not really. I just got mum and dad making sure I'm doing something. But as I said, when I did my knee, that really just reinforced in my head that footy's a real nice thing, but you do need to have a backup plan, and just to have a large period of footy taken away for so long reinforced that. And so kind of knuckled down in my ATAR year and got what I needed to get. And so doing engineering at Curtin, and look, a few of the things I like and a few of the things I don't like, but as I said, that's like in footy, probably not many people like a 2K, but you got to do it.
So that's 4 or 5 years?
5.5. So just ticking them off as we come, having the reports come through now, but only need a 50, so...
Like that. All right, now we'll go to the Instagram questions at Brian and Ethan. First one from _Bailey Morgan _ is it true you're the biggest ox out of Christchurch?
I mean, Bailey's an Aquinas boy, so he wouldn't have much inside info, but in my time I'd like to say so.
Marcus.Bennett, do you sleep at the gym?
Like, these guys are just coming up with shit. No, I don't like to sleep at the gym. Popular to contrary belief.
Ben.Wood08, daily protein intake.
There's just going to be a lot of these, aren't there? Look, whatever's in the pantry, really. I'm not really that deep into looking into it.
Max Hansen, ahoy. Can you explain why there's a dent from a dumbbell in my floor?
I'll talk about this one. Basically, when I was in boarding, I used to go to Max Hansen's house a lot, and he's a bit more nimble than me, and so when we were having to sneak out of the window in his house, he could get up onto the study desk and climb out the window, but for some reason he had a dumbbell on his desk. I don't know why. And so big clumsy me, knocked the dumbbell off, smashed into the floor. His parents woke up. What are you boys doing? We had to make the quick 20-meter sprint to bed and go, we're asleep. But look, sorry, honey. I actually did tell his dad about that the other day and apologise. But I think there's
How long in the making was that?
A
year or two?
That would have been year 8. Yeah.
So what's that? That's 5 years ago?
Yeah, look, it's been there for a while.
Dylan.Connolly8, round 1 fantasy, question mark. Assuming you lost to Dylan?
Yeah. I took a bit of pride in my fantasy team, but trading in certain people and they do nothing for me. Look, it's a touchy subject. I talked a lot of smack to Dylan and said, mate, you don't know what you're doing, and he's somehow come out and beaten me, but he's somehow ranked 60,000th overall now. So I'm just going to have to live with that one.
Lucas Clarkson _ best nickname East Freo.
He's asking for himself, and there's 2. Yeah, Clarko's called Dyson after the vacuum cleaner. There's a backstory. I'll just leave these. No, I'm not going to say anymore. And then Vinny McCormack is quite well built. He's got a large Mike Tyson neck, and so we call him Ingot after looking like an iron ingot.
Okay.
Nice. Finlay Yo, who cuts your hair?
So very, very proud to be a Diddy Fades enthusiast. So anyone needs a Nick Dacos inspired trim or burst fade, Diddy Fades your man.
First of many from Austin Trezise. Oh, no. Who is the most underrated player when playing at Christchurch and the Sharks?
Ooh. Over all years at Christchurch?
It's pretty, Look, he's left it open, it seems.
That's a good one. Probably at Christchurch, I think Will Wildberger in my year 11th year, he was just, even in year 10, he'd just take a lot of really good marks. And I think that's something in the back line, being a smaller guy, but being able to take marks bigger than your size is really good. And he played a bit of Claremont, but I think he preferred the country footy style. So
he won a flag at Claremont. So.
Yeah, I know more than I've won. So and then at East Freo, I'm probably off this year. I think Caden Summerall. I think he's just pretty consistent off the halfback as well, and I think he's had a bit of raps, but yeah, it could be a bit more.
Sits second in the cultures, what the coach votes
Yeah.
for at the moment.
You mentioned Austin had a couple, but there's only two on there. The other one we've already touched on because it was nicknames. And Vinny McCormack, I'm assuming that's him. He sent through a question saying, "Is it true you have the biggest neck at East Freo?" Clearly not. That's
Vinny number one.
Yep. But we
Now
got
Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, sorry, they're mixed up here.
Jackson Iversion.
Version.
Does he rate the no drizzle on Frappe's take?
Yeah, Bibb's a pretty controversial bloke. He has meat and cheese and no salad on meat boxes and kebabs. And then, yeah, we're in the gym the other night and he was just putting out these outrageous food claims. So, yeah, I don't even know what to say, to be honest, to that. It's just a bit like, what are you doing, mate?
Is chest day for the rest of his life, meaning you, or my arm day for the rest of his life?
Oh, no, I can't miss a chest day.
And he says again, meat and cheese only on burgers.
See, like...
That's very boring.
Yeah, I know. Just skip that one, mate. Like, come on,
You
something
need
better.
some sort of sauce. If you don't want lettuce or tomato or something, that's fair because that's just a cheeseburger. But you need sauce.
So if anyone should get protein slander, it's him.
Jackson Graham, is 81 your favourite number?
Yeah, and so basically I wasn't there for a cult session and that's when they were handing out the jumpers. And I asked Rama Evans to get me a jumper, get me a low number. I rock up to training the next day and I've got number 81. And I'm just walking around with like a number 81 for the rest of the year. And the next lowest number was like a 42. And so everyone's just like, mate, like, what were you thinking? And I just look at Rama every time, but everyone just thinks I was an idiot who picked 81. So at least, you know, I've got a bit of, I've labelled the number.
Make it your own.
Exactly. But yeah, I'm not touching that number anymore. So
Stick with the 16.
Jackson Graham again. Thoughts on discounted sushi?
yeah, so Jackson Graham was having a bit of a tough financial period, and so he had to resort to discounted sushi from Coles. So that was, yeah, look, I was really feeling bad for him at the time, and yeah, I said, look, if you need some dinner, come around and find something. He wasn't that bad off, I'll add, but yeah, look, as I said, you know, you're pretty down bad when you're buying discounted sushi.
Ollie McManus. Fortnite rankings 1 through 5. Cheeky, Winnicott, Morgs, Whisper, Snobs, Grub, Frolic.
I'll put Frolic at number 1. I'll put Winnicott Boys at number 2. Snobby Cheese number 3. Cheeky Chip number 4. Grub number 5, and Whisper Graham number 6.
So how are your usernames?
Yeah, they're all the usernames of one of our groups. It got really heated. A few holes went through desks, so yeah, not proud of that.
Luke Codelessa, how have the Caterpillars helped you to step up this season?
So yeah, he's referring to, I don't know if any other boys would mention, but Mark Neitz, he's a sprint coach, and over the off season, a few boys, me, Max Hansen, Codelessa, Macca, and a few other boys have been going to him, and he just really works on that kind of first few steps of power in your sprint, and also just your top end speed. And so Caterpillars is this exercise he does. It probably could be the most grueling exercise. Like, you're not walking the day after. But no, they've definitely helped me a lot, and very grateful for all the work that Neatsy's done. So shout out Neatsy.
I'm just interested. Luke obviously went to Trinity. So did you meet, like, you obviously would come to the comps and that?
Yeah, I think it's not really often that yet. I'd like to say that I've got a good range of per se connections. Like, my old man went to Wesley, so I know a few family friends and stuff at Wesley, and then Aquinas boys to East Freo, and yeah, Codelessa Trinity boys. So yeah, I think you just, my dad always said to me when I was playing year 7 and 8 per se that these boys that you're playing against, you're going to play against for the next 6 years. So, you know, he said that he knew all the good players when he played against them, and I think that was something that, you know, I then did, and Cottle was one of those good Trinity players, and you just kind of know each other.
Bit of chirp.
Yeah, fair bit's a bit hard when you're bottom of the ladder, but
Spalding Park Golf Club. What do you think of Lucas Clarkson's footy talents, and can you beat him at golf?
Yeah, Sporting Park Golf Club.
Good golf club.
Yeah, my local. Yeah, Lucas Clarkson, very good golfer. I'm not too sure about his footy. But yeah, he hits a crisp driver off the tee. But his short game after that's pretty average. But yeah, look, if I could hit it 300 metres dead straight, I'd be paying a lot of money to do so.
Yep, anyone would. Gaz.dog.1. Do you know bear? If so, does urine actually taste that bad?
What?
Bear Grylls.
Bear Grylls.
Oh.
He drinks his own piss.
Oh, yeah. No comment.
Kyle_Wilson_ hobbies outside of footy. Kind of touched on it. We'll go to the next one. How do you overcome setbacks?
Yeah, I think so I did my ACL, came back from my ACL, did my meniscus, and then after that had to have another clean out of my ACL knee. And I think the biggest thing, a few other boys I've heard on the podcast touch on it, is number one, you've just got to take little steps and appreciate other things. So for me, it was put your effort into school and stuff like that, things where you can see the work pay off. So that was big. And then I think also you've just got to understand that for me, the biggest thing was just thinking and reminding myself that other people have got it a lot worse. And so while I was out for a large period of time with football, there's a lot worse people, mental disabilities, and it sounds corny, but that's just what I always came back to. And as I said, if I'm out for footy for 10 months, but I've still got a mum, a dad, brothers, my grandparents are both happy. I live in a real nice area. Like there's really not that much to complain about, and obviously you still got to take time for your mental health. But it was just coming back to that and reminding myself, look, in 12 months' time you'll be playing footy, which I am now, and so you've got to look at the big picture and almost not make football or whatever you do the sole thing you do, because if you base your week off football, which I have done before, and football goes bad, well, then you're basing your mood, you're basing all the work you've done off that. And so that's been big for me to have those hobbies, spearfishing, golf, all that kind of thing. And then also just commit, like with rehab, committing to it. So not half asking it. So doing it properly and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel type thing.
It's good. Erwin, the Indian ring neck. Why didn't you continue your illustrious cross-country career at the end of 2024, Mr. Mariah?
Yeah, so during my time with my knee, I couldn't play any footy, but I could run. And my tutor at Christchurch was the cross-country teacher. And so pretty much through my whole year at PSA, he'd been just saying, mate, you've got to run for us. Like we're going to win. The footy team doesn't win. We win. Come on. So I said, you know what, why not? I'll get the nice little colours emblem on the blazer and, do Mr. Mariah a favour, and it's good exercise. I mean, 5K isn't really my forte in terms of distance, but...
What is?
Oh, probably a 400, 200. Yeah, I was a bit heavy for the old 5K. I'd look around and there's some sleek cross country runners, and then there's me. It wasn't pretty, but that was a good time as well. And I think that was also, I like winning and I'm pretty competitive, so that was good. And cross country ended up winning the cup, so that was nice as well.
For the whole year.
For the year, yeah. That's
silverware.
One of the
not an Alco, but it's a cross country cup.
Yeah, no, Christchurch is big on that. Cross country, chess, rowing, swimming, just not footy. So
Van_Grylls09. Any chance of a Pilbara mullet YouTube comeback?
Yeah, that's another one of the hobbies. Me and my mate Colin Regan from up north, we had a little Brody Moss inspired YouTube editing video. Wasn't anything special. Filmed on a little GoPro, edited on iMovie.
Is it up?
Yeah, but we're not pulling it up. Yeah, look, it was fun to make the edits, and pulling the trigger on the beat drop was pretty satisfying when I was about 8. But yeah, after that, I figured that it'd be a bit easier to just get a job rather than be a full-time content creator. So
yeah,
very true.
Wow.
And Jet.Abbott, the last one. Who do you love more, Dyson or Ingot?
Nah, I love them both. Both great boys, and it's real nice when they come back to train at Colts. They're both Aquinas boys. So when they're back at Colts, it's there's a lot of fun laughs, and the attention span is hard to keep on footy when they're around. So but can't pick and choose between those two.
All right, quiz time.
Break. Sorry, this is not really related to what we do, but I just saw it. Jeremy McGovern has retired.
Yeah, I saw that.
So,
yeah,
maybe that's old news.
Probably.
Well, not old,
we'll
but-
be once this is out.
Yeah, it will be. Just caught me there. So we'll go to the quiz, eh?
Quiz. All right. 14 points. You know how this goes.
Yep.
You would be all over it. Question number 1. You should know this. I'm hoping you would have done your revision, I hope. What is your height and weight on the Waffle website?
180.86.
Correct. Do the revision?
It was controversial because I was put at 182 and then they dropped me 2 centimeters.
Oh.
And so now there's about 4 of us who are at 180 and I'm taller than all of them. Rama, Maka and someone else.
1 from 1. Question number 2. The most amount of ranking points this year came against Pure Thunder for you. How many was it?
119?
117.
Must have been Dr. Handball or two.
Yeah. Yep. No, just no marks. A bit of a Matt Rowell player.
Question number 3. You didn't receive a free kick in your last game against West Perth, but you did give away some. How many did you give away?
4.
Yep.
Yes.
That's fantasy points.
Undisciplined, hey?
Umpires just hate me. It's because I complain too much. I ask for too many free kicks and they put them the other way.
2 from 3. Question number 4. True or false? Your 9 marks in this game was the most on the ground.
True. Oh, no, it's false.
False.
Someone from West Perth.
Yeah, it was the most for your team, but West Perth's Peter Young had 13.
Yeah, this is like me at school answering the question before I hear the full thing.
2 from 4. Question number 5. You're versing Swan Districts tomorrow at the time of recording. What was the winning margin last time you versed them earlier in the year?
It was less than a goal. I'm trying to get grilled for not 3 points.
2.
Oh my god.
60 to 58.
Still 2 from 5.
This is bad, boys.
Okay. Question number 6. Both the Sharks Colton League sit second on the ladder with the same amount of points. True or false?
Okay, they've lost. Nah, false.
Correct. League has 28 points. Colts have 24.
Yeah.
It's like 6 and 1.
They played
They
more,
more,
games because
yeah,
obviously
West
the
Coast.
Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 from 6. Question number 7. You sit in the top 10 for possessions in the Colts competition. Where exactly in the top 10 do you sit?
I think it's 5th.
Correct.
Right.
4
Yeah.
from 7.
Question
Getting the
number
ball
8.
rolling.
Jacob Donald had a good game, bumped me down.
Ollie McManus sits above you in 4th position.
Yeah.
How many possessions separate you?
1.
Correct.
Yeah, he got a recount. It's so dogs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were on the same. Then he got 1 more. It's dodgy handball.
Yeah, probably a throw.
Yeah.
What are we? 5 from 8 now. Really getting the ball rolling. Question number 9. You sit second in the Colts competition for tackles. Name either the person or the club that sit on top of you.
I think it's Perth or no. Okay, it's
Player. Well, the
Well,
player.
you can name the player or the team, but
If you don't know what team, if you know what team they're from, you can name the team.
okay. It's either Judd Marcello or the Clark. I think it's one of those 2.
which one are you locking in?
We'll tell you one of them's right.
Yeah, I know one of them's right. I know Judd Marcello hasn't played that many games. I'm gonna have to say Seth Clark.
Oh, it's Judd
Judd.
Marcello.
Oh my
He has 57, you have 55.
What are we? 5 from 9.
Yeah,
that hurts.
we have 5 points up for grabs though here. How many Colts coaches votes do you have up until this point?
5.
He knows it straight away.
He must have been outside listening to the recording with Drizzy just before when we were talking about it.
I was actually thinking as
So it
well.
goes to 10.
Not that this counts for points, but how many? Can you guess how many people sit on 5 votes
It's like
in the competition?
6 or something. It's a fair few.
It's 11, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah, it's
bulked up in that.
yeah.
middle.
So you sit third from the bottom.
Yeah.
Not third.
Double
last,
digits.
Like that. Yep. But unfortunately, you'll be.
Hey, it could have been a lot worse.
You are last in terms of the Colts players.
Could have been a lot worse. Double digits. You're taking
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
10 out of
Yeah.
14.
That's a pass score.
Yeah. Oh, fire out, boys. just hurts.
Too
when it was
hard?
Close.
Too hard?
No, not too hard.
Rushing.
I kind of back myself in, and answering the questions too quick. That's exactly what my ATAR marker report said. Oh my god. Oh, it still
well.
haunts me.
Still get the pass score, so you take that.
Yep.
Sitting mid-table. You definitely will be mid-table come the end of the year. Once we get
Yeah.
on
Who's leading?
Max Donnelly on 13 out of a possible 14.
Yeah, I
Will
think-
Cassidy
Speaking of
12.
Colts coaches votes, he's done really
Yeah,
well on
he's
that
up
for a
top.
defender.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why coaches vote. If you just play your role,
Nah,
and do your role
coaches
well.
love defenders.
Yeah.
They don't love stats, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You know.
So Will Cassidy 12, Jacob Donald 11, Luca Grego 11, Lucas Santich 10.5, you're on 10, Liam Haskett 9, Matt Spores 8. So you're above 2 cricketers. And
You're above Liam Haskett,
but
who was
unfortunately,
a Christchurch alumni.
Christchurch boy, yeah. So was his dad was a teacher as well.
True. And can also take good crowd catches.
Yeah. Yeah. Good economics teacher.
Just
too.
about does though. Had fun.
Nah. Was very good being here. Thank you for having me.
Finally made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's all thanks to Pegs. All the best on the weekend against Swan Districts.
Yeah. Go Sharks. Fins up.